Well, good evening. This is actually Sunday, July 18th, but I am recording the word that I should have recorded for you yesterday on Saturday, the 17th. I actually have two words that are partners this weekend, so I felt it was okay to record them each today. The first is roots. Roots. What are roots? Why are roots important? And let me read to you the actual definition of the word root. The root is the part of a plant that attaches it to the ground or to some kind of support. But the important thing about a root is that that is where the plant gains nourishment. That is where the plant gets its water, its vitamins, and everything through the roots from the structure that it's attached to. And what I want to ask you today is, what are your roots sinking into? I know that very, very often we have family traditions, we have families, we have people in our lives that we've been with for a long time, and they are our source of sustenance. But when you have your roots merely in people, merely in family structure, it may not be enough for all that you need in terms of the feeding of your intellect, of your emotions, of your very spirit. Sometimes roots can cause problems. For instance, we hear about things like hereditary diseases, and that's very often nothing more than family roots in a poor diet. Being an African American and someone who has basically Southern roots, there were many foods that were eaten by people in my family back generations ago that were eaten because that's all that there was for them to eat. Not because it was healthy, but because it was filling. And as a result, some of my culinary roots are not in a good place. And so I need to be very, very careful about what it is that I'm eating. And some of you may have the same issues. But what's really more important are the psychological roots, are the spiritual roots, are the intellectual roots that we have. And I'd like to ask you to think about, what are your roots? Now, sometimes those things are generational, and we see them in a good light, where we see families where everybody was in the medical profession, or everybody was a teacher, or everybody was even an entrepreneur. But sometimes we have roots that are very different, and we have to break free of those things that are keeping us rooted into a structure. Maybe it's a structure of public assistance. Maybe it's a structure of not feeling that college is possible. Maybe it's a structure of just bad behavior, and as a result of the people that we've hung out with all the time. So I would encourage you to take a look at where you're rooted. Where are you getting your intellectual, spiritual, physical, even dietary nourishment? What is the source? Because if the source is not a good one, eventually it will kill the plant, and that plant is you. So I ask you to really take a good hard look at where your roots are getting their sustenance, and think about what you might want to do to uproot and change where your roots are. I wish you a wonderful, wonderful evening and a great week in this upcoming week. Good night.